Welcome to the Braggin Rights Garage. I'm Dana Mitchell with 3X Chemistry. Today we're going to show you our rust dissolver. Take you through the ins and outs of how to dissolve rust. Going to show you the tools you need, the process from start to finish. We've got a suspension spring. This is something we're actually going to completely dissolve and restore it to reuse on a project we're working on. What we're going to need to get started here, you've got to have your basic tools to complete your project. So you're going to need some simple abrasive items, wire brush, sandpaper, sanding block, and then of course you'll need a bucket to put your dissolver into, rag for cleanup of course. What we're going to be using today is 3X rust dissolver. Incredibly simple material. Pour it into a bucket, put your product into it, allow it to soak for a few hours. It literally breaks the rust down, dissolves it from the base substrate. This material is incredibly user-friendly. It's blue, but the great thing about it, pour it into your bucket. No worry of harmful fumes, anything of that type. As you can see, no concerns here. Completely user-friendly. You can actually brush, paint this on, things of that type. Today we're going to soak it. I'm going to start with the spring. As you can see on this end here, this is about a 40, 50-year-old spring, so it's got some really heavy rust and corrosion on it. What you want to do, start with a simple process. Wipe it down, get dirt, debris off of it. Lightly brush it with a wire brush. No need to get incredibly abrasive here. You're not trying to completely remove the rust, just get the large scale and dirt off so it'll allow this to penetrate to the substrate and completely dissolve what's there. What we're going to do is actually transfer this to a little tighter bucket. That way we can get this thing soaked in a little deeper here. As you can see, very lightly hit this top with a brush just to knock off the large chunk scale. Don't want to get too aggressive. Again, this is going to dissolve the rust. No need for extensive manual labor. Want to take this, stand it up right into your dissolver. Let this soak for anywhere from, could be as little as 45 minutes upwards of an afternoon, maybe 4, 5, 6 hours, just depending on how thick and heavy the rust is. All right guys, here we are on the coil spring, the rust dissolver. We showed you this before we immersed it. This thing was nasty. It's a 40-year-old spring. It's got some really heavy-duty rust. So we've let this sit overnight. You know, you want to let this soak long enough that it gets everything off of it. What we're going to do now is just show you how simple it is. I'm going to pull this out. Water rinse only. This is a bucket with some water. I'm going to dip it. Get off the dissolver. You do want to try to get as much of that off of there as possible. So we'll just check, make sure this is back down. We're good to go. Now I'm going to lay this out on my towel, wipe it down a little bit. Grab my air gun, air dry it just to make sure I've got it good and dry. Okay, now that we've got it dried off, you know, we've shown you in other videos, you got a couple options to top coat. You definitely want to get this top coated though, or it will re-rust. So, you know, we showed you the Primol process. Now we're going to show you the metal etch process. This is a great product because it not only etches the metal, prepares it for other paints, top coats, it also leaves a phosphate zinc coating to prevent rust for up to 6 months. Again, you can brush this on, spray it on, roll it on, doesn't matter. Just want to make sure the surface stays wet for 30 minutes, then allow it to dry. All right, here we are, guys. This is a finished product. You know, like we showed you, we wanted to kind of do a half and half. Not quite half and half. We did the couple of top coils here, you can see. Still nice and rusty. This is finished. Now, what we used in this, we used the rust dissolver, of course. Give it a nice immersion bath. That's what allowed it to eat that rust. You know, remember, this did sit for overnight, but again, didn't have to do anything else to it, just let it sit in the tub. Once we got that done, we water rinsed it. No solvents needed at that point, just to get the dissolver off of it. Then, instead of top coating, we went with our metal edge product. What this does is a couple of things. This is going to prep it, get it ready for top coat if you're at that point, or allow you to let it sit. You know, it's spring, you're ready to go, but there's also other things in spring. You got turkey season, camping season, fishing season, whatever the case is. If you need to let it sit, you can. The important step to this, to finalize it, once you rinse it, keep it wet for 30 minutes or so with the metal edge, then you have to neutralize and wash this as well with an acetone. So, rinse it down with this, wash it with your acetone, stick it in the corner until you're ready to come back to it.